There is a sound that defines an era. It's not a whistle or a roar from the crowd. It's the sharp, sudden intake of breath from 50,000 people at once. It's the sound of anticipation, the sound of inevitability. For over 2 decades, that sound has had a name: Cristiano Ronaldo. It's the noise that happens right before he addresses a free kick, the collective pause before he rises for a header, the electric silence before the explosion. It's the sound of a man who bent the physics of a sport to his will. But how did one person become so synonymous with the moments that make your heart stop? He arrives at Manchester United as a teenager, all step-overs and flashy tricks. He looks more like a dancer than a footballer. His talent is raw, untamed, and often frustrating. He holds on to the ball for too long. He goes to ground too easily. But even then, you can see glimpses of the monster lurking beneath the surface. It's in the unnatural way the ball moves after he strikes it, the explosive power in his sprints. The senior players are famously hard on him, trying to temper his individualism. But were they trying to break him? Or were they unknowingly forging the most resilient athlete the sport had ever seen? The early audio clips from his career are filled with a kind of breathless surprise from commentators. Audio clip: Great feat, Cristiano Ronaldo. It's the sound of people realizing they are witnessing something new. Audio clip: That is stunning, absolutely stunning. He scores goals that defy logic, goals born from pure, audacious self-belief. He isn't just playing the game, he is imposing his own reality onto it. This isn't just talent, it's a declaration of intent, a promise of the sheer dominance that is to come. But could a player built on pure ego and flair ever become the leader a team needs to conquer the world? The transformation doesn't happen overnight. It happens on the cold, rainy training grounds of Carrington, under the watchful eye of a manager who is more like a father figure, Sir Alex Ferguson. Ferguson sees the diamond in the rough. He understands that to harness this force of nature, you don't break his spirit. You give it a target. The tricks and flicks slowly begin to disappear, replaced by a terrifying efficiency. The goal is no longer just to entertain, but to destroy. He starts adding new weapons to his arsenal: a towering header, a long-range shot that swerves with venom, and a predatory instinct inside the penalty box. This is where the physical specimen is born. Stories from inside the club become legend. He's the first to arrive at training, the last to leave. He straps weights to his ankles to practice step-overs, perfecting his craft while others are resting. He becomes obsessed with his own physical potential, sculpting his body into a perfect athletic machine. His teammates are initially annoyed by his peacocking, his relentless need to be the best in every single drill. But does annoyance eventually turn into awe when they realize his obsession is the very engine driving their own success? The commentary begins to shift. The surprise is replaced with expectation. Audio clip: Rooney looking for Ronaldo. Ronaldo that goes to the near post, and he scored the goal. That sound, that sharp intake of breath from the crowd, starts to become a regular occurrence at Old Trafford. He is no longer just a talented winger. He is becoming a phenomenon, a force of gravity that pulls the entire game into his orbit. He wins the Ballon d'Or for the first time in 2008, cementing his status as the best player on the planet. But with the ultimate individual prize secured, the only thing left is the ultimate team glory and a date with destiny on a rainy night in Moscow. Is it possible for one man's destiny to be both victory and failure in the exact same moment? The 2008 Champions League final, Manchester United versus Chelsea. This is the pinnacle of club football. The stage Ronaldo was born to dominate. And at first, he does exactly that. The first goal is a textbook example of the monster he has become. Audio clip, West Brown good ball as well. Head up from Ronaldo. Manchester United take the lead. It's a header of impossible athleticism. He hangs in the air, defying gravity, and directs the ball with precision and power. It feels like the coronation is complete. This is his final. His trophy. But football is a cruel, unpredictable drama. Chelsea equalizes. The game stretches into a tense, agonizing extra time before bleeding into the horror of a penalty shootout. The entire season, a whole career's ambition, now rests on a series of single kicks from 12 yards out. Ronaldo, as the team's talisman, steps up. He does his signature stutter step run up, and it all goes wrong. Audio clip, Ronaldo against Czech. Ronaldo does a little stutter. Oh, he saved it. The world watches as Peter Cech guesses correctly. Ronaldo's face is a mask of pure despair. He has, in the biggest moment, failed. He buries his head in the turf, a solitary figure in a sea of tension. The dream is turning into a public nightmare. Then comes one of the most infamous moments in football history. Chelsea's captain John Terry has the chance to win the cup with the final penalty. Audio clip, John Terry. He's missed it. He's missed it. Oh yes, he's missed it, and United is still alive. The slip. The post. The unbelievable twist of fate. In that moment, Ronaldo is given a second chance, not by his own genius, but by pure luck. When Nicolas Anelka's final penalty is saved, Ronaldo collapses to the ground, this time not in despair, but in uncontrollable, sobbing relief. He won the trophy, but in that moment of victory, did he feel like a champion or like a man who had been saved from himself? The world record transfer to Real Madrid in 2009. 2009 isn't just a career move, it's a paradigm shift for football. He arrives not as a player, but as a king, presented at a stadium packed with 80,000 fans chanting his name. The pressure is immense. The famous white jersey of Real Madrid has crushed lesser players, but for Ronaldo, it's merely a fitting canvas for his ambition. He is no longer just a superstar, he is a Galactico, tasked with restoring glory to the world's most demanding club. But his arrival also ignites the single greatest rivalry the sport will ever know. In Barcelona, there is a quiet, humble genius who plays the game with a supernatural grace, Lionel Messi. If Ronaldo is sculpted marble, all power, and perfect form, Messi is water, flowing through defenses with impossible ease. Ronaldo is the explosive result of relentless work. Messi is the embodiment of innate, God-given talent. Their rivalry becomes the central drama of world football for the next decade. El Clásico is no longer just a match. It's a battle between two living legends, two footballing deities. Audio clip, he's done it again. Lionel Messi. Every goal Messi scores feels like a challenge. Every trophy Barcelona wins is a direct slight. This rivalry pushes them both into a dimension of performance never seen before. They trade Ballon d'Or awards. They shatter goal-scoring records that had stood for generations. One weekend, Ronaldo scores a hat-trick. The next, Messi does the same. Audio clip, Ronaldo, Ronaldo, Ronaldo. It's a relentless, breathtaking duel. The world picks sides, debating endlessly who is the GOAT, the greatest of all time. But in their private moments, away from the cameras, did they see each other as enemies, or as the only other person on earth who truly understood the pressure they were under? At Real Madrid, Ronaldo undergoes his final, terrifying evolution. He sheds the last remnants of the winger he once was, and becomes the most complete goal scorer in history. His game is stripped down to its most lethal elements. He is a predator who lives and breathes inside the final third of the pitch. His positioning becomes an art form. He has an uncanny ability to know where the ball will be, a sixth sense for weakness in the defense. He is no longer just part of the attack. He is the attack. The numbers he produces are simply absurd, belonging more to a video game than reality. 50 goals a season becomes the norm. 60 goals. He scores every type of goal imaginable. Thundering free kicks that defy physics. Audio clip: what a goal, a stunning Ronaldo free kick. Poacher's finishes from close range. Towering headers, where he leaps higher than everyone else. And of course, blistering counterattacks, where his pure speed is unstoppable. Audio clip: what a goal this will be. Stunning. Simply stunning. He becomes less of a footballer and more of a statistical anomaly, a walking, breathing record book. He wins 4 more Champions League titles with Madrid, including an unprecedented 3 in a row. He becomes the competition's all-time leading scorer. The moments he produces are not just brilliant, they are historic, clutch, and game-defining. He is the man for the big occasion, the player who thrives when the pressure is at its absolute peak. Yet, amidst all this club success, there is a lingering emptiness, a challenge that still gnaws at him. Can you truly be considered the greatest of all time if you haven't delivered glory for your own country? Playing for Portugal is a different burden for Ronaldo. At Manchester United and Real Madrid, he was surrounded by the world's best players. For Portugal, he is the hope. He is the singular talent that elevates a good team into a potential contender. For years, that weight seems too much to bear. There are heartbreaking exits from major tournaments, moments of visible frustration as he tries to drag his team to victory almost single-handedly. He is accused of being selfish, of caring more for his own glory than the team's. The 2014 World Cup is a low point, battling injury. He can't prevent Portugal from crashing out in the group stage. The critics are loud. They say he can't do it on the international stage. But then comes Euro 2016. Ronaldo is a different kind of leader now. He is still the star, but he is more of a captain, a motivator. He scores crucial goals, including a vital header in the semifinal. Then, in the final against France, disaster strikes. An early injury forces him off the field. We see him in tears, his dream seemingly shattered once again. But what happens next defines his legacy. Instead of retreating to the locker room, he becomes an assistant manager on the sidelines, prowling the technical area, shouting instructions, kicking every ball. Audio clip, background shouts and tension. He is a man possessed, his will to win so powerful it cannot be contained by injury. When Eder scores the unbelievable winner in extra time, Ronaldo's celebration is one of pure, unadulterated joy. Audio clip, jubilant Portuguese commentary. He wasn't on the pitch for the winning moment, but was this his greatest triumph, proving his leadership went far beyond just scoring goals? There are goals, and then there are moments that transcend the sport itself. April 3rd, 2018. Turin, Italy. Real Madrid are playing Juventus in the Champions League quarter-final. The ball loops into the penalty area, slightly behind Ronaldo. It's an awkward height for anyone. For a normal player, the attack dies. But Ronaldo is not a normal player. What he does next is borderline mythical. He launches his body into the air, twisting sideways, and connects with a perfect overhead bicycle kick. Audio clip. Ronaldo. What a goal, Christie. Sensational. The ball rockets into the back of the net. The stadium, filled with tens of thousands of Italian fans, falls into a stunned silence for a split second. And then, something remarkable happens. They get to their feet. They begin to applaud. It's not polite applause. It's a genuine, heartfelt ovation from rival supporters. a spontaneous recognition that they have just witnessed a moment of pure, undeniable genius. Even the great Zinedine Zidane, his own manager and a legend himself, can only scratch his head in disbelief. That goal is more than just a goal. It's a work of art. It's the perfect combination of athleticism, technique, and audacity. It's a moment so perfect that it breaks down the walls of tribalism in football. For that one brief instant, everyone was a Cristiano Ronaldo fan. It was a goal scored for Real Madrid, but it felt like a goal that belonged to the entire sport. In a career defined by numbers and records, could this single beautiful moment actually be his most important legacy? His move to Juventus, the very club he had conquered with that bicycle kick, signals the final act of his career. He is now in his mid-30s, an age when most elite forwards are retired or in decline. But Ronaldo sees age not as a barrier, but as another opponent to be defeated. His obsession with physical maintenance becomes even more extreme. His diet, his sleep, his training regimen, everything is calibrated to defy the natural process of aging. He is no longer just competing against defenders. He is competing against time itself. The records continue to fall. He becomes the first player to score 100 goals for 3 different top clubs. He breaks the all-time international goal-scoring record, a milestone once thought to be unbreakable. Audio clip. Commentator shouts on a record-breaking goal. Each goal is a statement, a punch against the dying of the light. His game changes again. The blistering sprints are less frequent, replaced by an even more intelligent sense of positioning and an almost unparalleled finishing ability. He is a master of efficiency, maximizing every movement. But there is a poignancy to this era. The Champions League glory eludes him at Juventus, and during his return to Manchester United, we see flashes of frustration, the anger of a king who knows his powers are, despite his best efforts, beginning to wane. He is still a magnificent goal scorer, but he can no longer bend an entire game to his will in the same way. Is there a quiet tragedy in watching a god become mortal? Or is there a greater inspiration in seeing him fight so ferociously against the inevitable? When the final whistle eventually blows on this monumental career, what is the story we will tell? The easiest answer is found in the numbers, the hundreds of goals, the 5 Ballon d'Ors, the 5 Champions League trophies, the European Championship. The records are cold, hard, and undeniable. They paint a portrait of a relentless winner, a statistical titan whose name will be etched in the history books for eternity. By any objective measure, his career is an overwhelming success, a monument to what can be achieved when immense talent is fused with an iron will. But the deeper story is not about the goals. It's about the hunger. It's about the boy from Madeira who was so defined by what he didn't have that he spent his entire life relentlessly pursuing everything. His career was not a performance. It was a war against his own perceived limits, against his rivals, against the critics, and ultimately, against time. He was never the natural, easy genius like Messi. He was the man who built himself into a god. One sit-up, one training drill, one perfectly struck ball at a time. His greatness doesn't lie in its effortlessness, but in the sheer, visible, staggering scale of its effort. We watched him evolve from a flashy teenager into a ruthless machine, and from a machine into a fighting legend. The sound he created, that collective gasp of anticipation, was a testament to his power. It was the sound of a man who could produce a miracle at any given moment. And perhaps that is his true legacy, not just the goals or the trophies, but the feeling he gave us. That brief, electric moment of silence before the roar, when for just a second, anything and everything felt possible. So the final question is not simply, was he the greatest? But rather, Will we ever again see a single athlete who so desperately, so obsessively, and so successfully willed their own legend into existence?